just another movie night.
Hello everybody, we are just another movie night and we're doing something different. As you can tell, we're on video.
We're on video!
Yeah, I'm Scott and this is Joe. And we're trying to do something a little different because we have so many passions and so many things that we want to talk about and discuss. And we figured, what the hell, let's start trying to make some videos of our adventures because we go on a lot of them. So today we're going to do something that we, or maybe I, like a little way too much, and now Joe is starting to also agree with me and see a little bit.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, which is crazy. Now we're getting more and more spread out with our passions. We spend every anniversary going on like 2-week vacations where we go and just drive through the United States. And this year we did something a little different where we added a whole nother aspect to our trip, which was hunting comic books, which I absolutely love to do. I love looking for a deal, and I know some people really enjoy talking about their hunts and discussing comic book stores and their finds when, whatever they get. So I thought, what the hell, let's try to do it ourselves, because we went on a huge adventure and we ended up hitting 4 states and I believe 11 stores.
Did we do 4 states? Yeah, 4 states.
4 states. And 11 stores, like I said, which I never expected that. Let's first talk about what we were looking for. Because I said, look, I want to hunt the best budget comics I can find. I love looking for those dollar bins, those under $1, some kind of deal, and find great little picks in there. And I will say this, I'm a huge Batman fan. So I'm that idiot that collects Batman comics, which means I collect so much comics. The whole Bat family, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Azrael, Deathstroke, Nightwing, of course, and Robin. All of those guys.
You should just say DC.
Well, I try not to hunt the other things that I love, which are the strange DC characters. I absolutely love them. Joe, on the other hand, is into horror comics. And
I'm into horror everything. So when naturally I started collecting Elvira comics, and my whole, I guess, lot in life was to find Elvira everything, comic book wise. And my main, I guess, what would you call it? My main drive during this trip was to find Elvira meets Vincent Price, number 4.
We have all of them but number 4, and I told Joe, let's not go to eBay, let's not go to Macari, or any of these sites. Let's hunt this issue.
It was very taxing on my soul.
It's a
I will
fun
put it
adventure.
that way, because I was getting really angry because I was going to all these places and I could not find this one comic, and I was getting really angry. But it kind of is like a driving force, like, okay, I am going to one day find this comic, but as every day goes by, this comic is going up in price, and now I'm starting to get mad. So I was a little annoyed during our comic book adventure this time, but it worked out.
Yeah, and also should say that you were also House of Mystery. You kind of,
Yes.
I think we went to a sale. Our local comic book store is Tate's Comics in
Lauderhill?
Lauderhill,
Mhm.
Florida. We went there and when they have a giant sale, it's a giant sale, and sometimes you get the best comics out of there. And
Yeah.
we ended up finding a bunch of Elvira's House of Mystery from DC Comics. Joe was, I want to get more of these.
Yeah, so I just started buying them all, and
So we're
out of order, of course.
started hunting not only her House of Mysteries, but House of Mysteries,
Well,
which grew into a whole thing.
it started changing rapidly when I discovered that there are horror comics out there that I must have in my collection, and that became a huge problem for our bank account.
That's the issue, right? Because I think any comic book fan already knows, once you start, it's an obsession.
It's on. Like
It's on.
It's on.
And this is something, and I should get into this. I was a huge, I guess we maybe should mention this a little bit. Huge comic book fans, always been comic book fans. When we first met, you were very into X-Men.
Yes, I did love Rogue, Gambit, Storm, The X-Men were my thing.
A kid growing up in 80s and the 90s watching the X-Men cartoon, who couldn't adore those characters?
How about we go to Paris instead?
How about getting your butt out of my car?
The same thing goes with me. My Batman love came with the animated series.
Police emergency band just switched on.
Then I'll prepare your usual breakfast. Toast, coffee, bandages.
Good night, Alfred.
I actually grew up more of a Spider-Man fanatic, and that's a whole nother thing. But as, of course, everybody who fell in love with Todd McFarlane followed Spawn, and then sooner or later comic books kind of died off. But during quarantine, shutdown, I got really heavily, well, let's do something that is like a hobby to keep our minds going, or feeling like the insanity of being home. I decided I'm going to start getting into comics again. I'm going to start getting into what I love, which is Batman. And that has grown enormously. On this adventure, we heard, hunting Elvira meets Vincent Price, number 4. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to hunt. Adventure Comics from back in the day. I wanted to hunt Adventure Comics 460 through 460, I think 3, which basically is the death of Earth 2 Batman. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it a thing. I want to see if I can find, for a really good price, some of these issues that link into the death of the original Batman that became Earth 2. So that's where our adventure kind of began. Otherwise, I was just checking off my list of my completionist list
And
of
we have
all
a very
Batman
long
comics.
list. It's a
And I do
very
have,
long
and
list.
it grows constantly. And I need to backtrack. But we're going to talk about that because this adventure was insane. So where did we start out?
Okay, so we started out in Orlando. That was our first stop on our road trip, our epic road trip. And we stopped at Coliseum of Comics.
Yes, Coliseum of Comics.
Yeah.
And that was it was a good first stop.
Yeah.
We didn't expect actually to be so good. We got a stack of comics here. I found, and this is where the adventure for Joe really began, because she found
I mean, a
some
mother
good
load,
ones.
probably, when I say
And-
mother load,
We're going to say this.
I lost my mind.
I'm only hunting, checking off for good prices. Here's what I got. That's it. And Joe, on the other hand, discovered these comics. So you want to talk
Okay.
about some of these?
so,
You can show your favorite one out of the bunch.
okay, so I found Boris Karloff's Tales of Mystery. And I had a feeling, like, I kind of knew that this might have existed, but I never knew that it was this big. Like, there are 97 issues. It was from 1960 something, right? Until
Yeah.
1980. And some of these are 15 cents. So that was one of the 15-cent ones, although I did not pay 15 cents. Most of these that I bought were $4. They are not the, rare ones. The rare ones that they had at the Coliseum of Comics were pretty much upwards of between $25 and $45 for the rare ones. This one here is probably one of my favorite covers that I picked up. And like I said, some of these are 15 cents, 40 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. I mean, they range in price, but I did pick up a whole bunch of these, and I did spend a pretty penny.
What we should point out, too, it's not about the perfect condition. We're not into the slabs or the grading. We just kind of want to own some of these old issues and just have a nice collection going. And so I think that it ranges in quality,
Yeah, like
which
these,
is,
these are not in like super duper pristine condition, but they are in pretty nice condition. I mean, I wanted these for my own collection. I have no plans on selling these at all. And a lot of these that I picked up at the Coliseum of Comics are in very beautiful condition. They are lovely, and I do feel confident taking them out of the sleeves and reading them. So I am on the hunt. I did pick up a lot of these. So I am on the hunt to obtain all 97 issues of Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery.
And this started on this trip. This was the first store, and this set the whole trip. This is what we were going to do now. Joe was like,
Yeah.
"This is it. I found what I wanted to hunt."
I mean, these are pretty rad.
Yeah.
I love the covers of these. I love
And-
the art on them. I'm a very big fan of old time like sci-fi horror, like
Horror
I'm talking
anthologies.
like 1940s,
As you
50s.
can see behind us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
horror anthologies and just everything to do with horror. And so when I learned that Boris Karloff had this many, I was on the hunt. And it seems that Gold Key put out this series, and then they were reprinted by Whitman Comics.
It's an odd one. I haven't looked into this enough, but it looks like Whitman Comics was putting it out at the same time, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I only got 3 comics on this stop because I was saying to myself, I'm only going to get them unless they're really good prices and it's something I needed. So I ended up getting Dark Knight's Death Metal #1, a black and white edition, which I thought was neat, and I needed #1 for some reason, didn't have it. I also got Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knight, which is going for some money, and I actually got it for way less than it's going for these days. And to start off, I got my Adventure Comics 461. It's pretty great. It's this is basically the end where they're fighting the person who ends up taking Batman out, and it's got a cool little Deathman comic on the bottom there inside of it. So yeah, that's their first stop, and we ended up getting some. I was like, you know what, this is a great first stop, and the store, let me tell you, is really big, well laid out.
Yes.
Everybody's super nice in there. Ended up one of the books I got had a mess up on the packaging. I said, hey, look, for the price, because I think I ended up spending, like maybe $8 for this comic. And I said, hey, the package is a little messed up. Do you guys have another bag and board? And they were instantly able to help me out.
They were very
and give us-
accommodating.
And so, and they were really nice. They actually gave us a discount. They
Did
actually ended up giving you, I think, 2 of those books for free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I pretty
which was
much
so
did
nice.
get 2 books for free. I think one that I bought was a little bit frayed on the side, and I
Yeah.
did get a discount.
We told them that we were not locals, and they said, well, come back. They gave us a card if you guys come back to check off, and they said customer loyalty.
Yeah.
So they gave us a discount just for, bulk wrapping. So that was really, really awesome, and that was a good way to start the trip. But here's where, this is where the nightmare started, because we discovered our next comic book stop. Now, this was in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, Tallahassee. This place is called Fallout Comics, and this is
Okay.
something.
I ended up taking a little too much home, as you can see here. This comic book store, I'm going to put some stuff up on the screen here. This comic book store blew me away. First off, this is a gigantic comic book store. Huge. And walking into here felt like I was walking into a comic book warehouse. They had everything you can imagine. But
Yeah.
in the back, something special.
Oh,
There was
very
a
special.
warehouse of comic books for $1. And it turns out when we went there, it was a customer loyalty appreciation.
Customer appreciation week, I
Apparently
believe.
week.
Yeah.
They had everything for 80 cents. Now, I couldn't pass up. This
Well,
was
yeah.
like
They
heaven.
were $1, and then there's 20% off. So this
But-
place was it was crazy. It was crazy.
This is basically me checking off my my lists here. I was able to get some crazy, just to check off my list, 80 cents a comic. Very hard to pass up. I got some Azrael comics. I got some Red Robin comics. 80 cents a comic. Some of these kind of shocked me. I was able to get Red Hood and the Outlaws #1 and Annual #1. 80 cents. Can't pass up on stuff like that. So this was a little crazy. I was able to pick up way too many books. Didn't expect our adventure would go this good, this quick. And just walking around in this crazy thing, we were pressed for time because we needed to get back on the road for our trip. And I just couldn't stop
But
shopping.
we just could not believe how big this place was. And there was not just, I'm not going to tell you that there was 10 boxes of dollar comics. I'm talking about hundreds of boxes of dollar comics in this place. And there's no way that one human being could get through all of those boxes because they were unfortunately not in alphabetical order or organized at all. It was just a bunch of dollar comics random in all the boxes, and there were hundreds of boxes.
Hundreds of boxes.
And so when we went in there, and like Scott says, we were pressed for time, so we met a man that was actually shopping, and he was looking for Punisher comics, and he asked us what we were looking for. So we kind of shopped together with this stranger who was awesome.
Yeah.
And we told him what we were looking for, and we were helping him go through his Punisher. He wanted all the Punisher ones, so we were pulling out comics, and we were doing it at ludicrous speed, so we can get back on the road. But we easily could have spent about 4 hours in this store.
Yeah, and this is your little stack. You
So-
saw my giant stack, and I got some issues I've been putting in front here. But
Yes.
Joe started hunting.
Well,
She's
you
always
know,
looking for
Archie. Because I know that's like really a cliche, but I have loved Archie comics since I was a kid. And I've always collected the, Laugh Digests and, the little books that are like that big. And I've always had those, and I've loved Archie since I was a little kid. So when I found these in the dollar box, I was like, what?
80 cents, which
I'm
was
like,
even more
80
amazing.
cents?
And I even tried to strike up a deal. I was like, if I buy a long box, how much could you guys cut us a price? And, well, we're doing 80 cents, and that's as far as we're going to be able to go with this. And I get it, because there was great books
There
in
was
there.
a lot.
I honestly am shocked that they were selling them for as cheap as they were. Also, you were also helping. We're also always trying to hunt for our friends who also love comic books.
Yes.
And your friend is a
So-
big Archie fan as well.
My friend Kim so she had a fire in her house when she was younger, and she lost all of her Archie comics. So I was pretty happy to help her. I found these, and I'm going to share my comics with her because she lost all of hers. So I am going to help her out and give her some of mine.
Yeah.
But these are just some of the ones that I found there in the dollar box. So 80 cents. And I think it's pretty good. I mean, some of them were boarded, some of them weren't. But it doesn't matter because we can take care of that. But I really just had a good time hunting these. And they were just randomly in all these boxes.
Yeah, this next one right here, not this one, but that one. This one was a cool little one we found.
Yeah, so...
real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
Fright
this
Night
is
3D comic. Kind of neat for
Yeah.
horror fans. Just
Yeah.
randomly found that.
Just to have
Very
it.
interested. I'm sure a lot of these comics aren't worth a lot of money, but for 80 cents, killer deal. And it
Yeah.
also helps us start our collection, help our friends. And we're going to get into us helping our friends more, because our friend's husband also is in the comics, and I'm going to make sure I can get him some too. So we found a whole bunch. But yeah, so that was the second stop.
That was Fallout Comics in Tallahassee, Florida. If you're ever in the area, you have to see this place. You just have to. They have back issues. Then they have a whole back area with hundreds of dollar comics. I mean, they're friendly. It was a great place. It was we loved it. We loved it. So our third stop.
My chair is making noise. We have never done this before,
It's our
so
first
the
video.
lighting is not great. The sound is probably not great, but we figure we'd try it. Yeah, the next place
Okay.
is where?
So our next place is our third stop. It is called Jason's Southeast Cards and Comics, and that's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And this place is small. It's literally right next to a gas station.
We didn't expect much, because when we
yeah.
got there, gas station, basically kind of like shutters on the windows.
Yeah, it looked...
not like an inviting place you expect to find good comics.
Yeah.
But walking inside, the moment we walked inside, it was like finding an open shed of comic books.
Yeah.
Just boxes and boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
And-
It looked unassuming. Like you would just like, it looks like a little place, and it just like a little mom and pop store.
Mhm. Yeah, and very friendly.
Yeah.
Again, everything is on sale, which is what we heard a lot of on this trip.
Yeah.
Everything is on sale, and so of course, gonna have to get some comics. Are you kidding me? things are on sale, I'm going to pick them up. So when I find Man-Bat number 2, of which I believe this is Man-Bat number 2 from back in the day, for only cover price. I mean,
I think
these,
he actually gave us a discount
yeah,
off the cover
these might have
price.
been like $4 to $5. And when I saw all of Nocturna in this box, I was like, yep, I'm going to pick up some of these. So yeah, I was able to get some really killer comics in here for a really, really cheap price.
And we knocked a lot off our list.
And it was so interesting being in here because he just kept finding more and more comics for us to check out. And he was like, I have a whole bunch of boxes behind the counter I haven't even looked through yet. What are you guys looking for? And Joe was mentioning some, and he was even trying to strike up deals, but way above our price range, unfortunately. So we couldn't get some of these really, really old, neat comics. That he had in
there
his
were like
boxes.
10-cent comics from the early 1940s, and were in pretty banged up condition. And I would have to really sort through this box. There was a whole box of old sci-fi that he had, but they were, like I said, out of my price range.
Yeah. I got a nice stack.
Yeah,
Joe
so
got a
I
few.
got some stuff. So going back to Archie series, 1955 is the series. So I started hunting that, and I am still on the hunt
Yeah.
for number 1.
For number 1, which this is one you actually discovered
This
here,
is-
and you said,
yes.
you know what? I'm gonna
I
get.
was like, wow.
What is this? I got to find all these now. So that was added to the Boris Karloff, which we were shocked. We could not find any Boris Karloff at this place, which was kind of
No,
surprising.
I was shocked because he had a lot of old sci-fi and a lot of old horror, and I didn't see any Boris Karloff, but I did find this, and I think that this is awesome in so many ways because they changed the character a lot. This is not at all what she looked like when I read comics of Little
honestly.
Jinx back in the day.
Kind of love that though.
But I think that this is cool because this is I love the art, number 1, and it seems as though like this is just something I would really like. So I was like, okay, Grim Fairy Tales, you can't get any better than that. And it's Archie horror, so can't get
Even
any better
better.
than that.
Even better.
Then I found this, which I'm a very big fan of the pinup culture, and I love Betty Page. So I bought this because I fell in love with the art.
Oh.
So I got that, and then I also got this book, Beware the Witch's Shadow, Night Frights, number 1. I have no idea what that is, but because I like the art on the cover and it's number 1, I feel like if I read issue number 1 and I like it, I can get the rest. So it was really good deals here over at Jason's Southeast Cards and Comics, and that's in Baton Rouge,
Yeah,
Louisiana.
I mean, just picked up some great detective comics that I never had. Just getting more and more issues, just finding and collecting. And I got to tell you, as a person who is just trying to collect on the cheap, I never expected to get some of these issues that I've been getting on these trips. But I keep finding really good issues. So yeah, this was another killer stop. Great stack of comics.
The 4th stop was in Baton Rouge. Also, it was right down the street actually from Jason's Southeast. This place is called Double Play Cards and Comics, and they had a lot of 50-cent comics here.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I think you only picked up because you were hunting these. You found those and actually paid, I think, a decent price.
Yeah, so this is the Archie 1955 series. I did pick up 3, 4, and 5. Number 2 I got at Jason's Southeast. So I am still hunting. And this is issue 5 of 5. Still hunting number 1.
Now, the rest of these comics were all 50 cents. Great deal. 50-cent comics, very surprised. I got a bunch of stuff that I normally wouldn't collect. Batman Fortress. I've been seeing a lot of this, and I do not have any of these, and I figured it's a short mini-series, 50 cents, check it out. But then I found some of these.
These are great.
And I was a little surprised. Now, I absolutely love the old school characters that are the weird ones, the ones that don't get the much love. And so I was really happy to find some old Ambush Bug comics in these 50-cent bin. those are the son of, that's the second series, the miniseries that they have for him. But this is the first miniseries, issue number 4 for 50 cents. That's I think a really good buy. And I believe these were all pretty much the generic ones that you would maybe find in a dollar bin, but for 50 cents, even better. Joe started getting Stephen King's son, Joe Hill,
Yes. So I
his
found
comic
these.
series.
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
we're
well,
like, you know what, for
had
50
me
cents, yeah,
at Joe Hill.
check out some of his comics.
Yeah.
That's a miniseries. Same thing. I got a Vigilante issue that was thrown in there. Unfortunately, a little bit of a marker dot in a corner, but still, Vigilante's kind of booming because of Peacemaker. So I got some interesting comics for 50 cents. Walked out of there with not spending much, and it was a nice little place, a little tight.
It was small.
Yeah, had some stuff on the walls. If I was hunting more expensive comics, some really good buys there.
Mm-hmm. So our 5th stop on this southern road trip was Shreveport, Louisiana, and we were at Excalibur Comics. This place was pretty cool.
This was a really nice place inside. They had some really well organized comic bin. Like everything was in nice pullouts.
It was wonderful.
Very nice. The guy was very nice to me. We had just gotten off the road, had to go to the bathroom. Usually these kind of places don't want anybody to use their bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
He let me go basically into his back storage area and go to use the bathroom. Yeah. So nice.
He was really nice.
I guess I spent some money, so you know what?
Oh yeah,
might
you
as
spent
well.
money, so yeah, he'll let you use the bathroom.
Yeah. So you got some. You found some really interesting
cool
ones.
Stuff. So naturally, when I saw Archie versus Sharknado,
yeah, that's
I literally lost my mind because I was like, okay, how do I know about this? And Sharknado, come on, everybody knows about Sharknado, and it's Archie. I had to have it.
Yeah, and the fact that I love that it was in the kids section.
It was, well, yeah, it was.
It's in the kids section, which is really funny for some of these adult Archie comics, which is great. Like this one's really neat. So
this one I got too. I had to get it. It is Archie's Halloween Spectacular.
Yeah.
I need to pick up these things if I see them because that is just an adorable cover. I love it so much, so I had to have that.
Same goes for me. I found a couple extremely well-priced issues that I actually needed. Detective Comics 871. I actually didn't have it, which is odd because I'm almost done with it. One Day 880, which is an insanely priced book. Probably not going to find that anytime soon. I also was able to find a decent copy with a little bit of a fold problem, but $4.63 for Adventure Comics makes me only need the one where Batman dies, which is the one between the two I already got. But this one surprised me. I did not expect to find this series. This is one of the series that, for some reason, I never see it out, and it seems like it's highly priced everywhere I go, online anyways, which is Robin Year One, which is a really neat comic series, a little mini series with some really great comic covers. I absolutely love them. They're all like colors, and you can see each one has a different color and a different scheme for what the cover is, and they look really great.
I love that art.
I cannot wait to read these. I actually never thought I was even going to collect this one, but when I found the entire series for almost cover price, picked them up. So now you actually found more of what you were actually hunting for.
So I was having a nerdgasm over the Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery. So naturally, any comic book store that I went into on this trip, I was going right for the Boris Karloff horror section. Not all of these comic book stores had that. However, I did find some. Now this one's a little banged up, but it was $3, and I want it for my personal collection. I'm not, like I said, not selling these. So yeah, these are the cheapest ones. They're a little banged up here, not as good as the ones that I found at the other store, but they were like $3 each, and I didn't have them. Yep. So I was like, all right, well, if they're just a little banged up, I don't care, because I just want them all in my collection. So I did get 4 of these there.
Even better, yeah.
Even better, I did find DC House of Mystery, older ones. And And these are a little
This
bit...
one in particular is pretty rough,
Yeah,
but it
it's
was
rough.
a decent markdown price for the rough.
I think I paid $3.25 or something
Yeah.
like that, which is worth it for me because I really want all of these. So that worked out, and I have no plans to get rid of these. So they're my personal collection. So yeah, I don't care if they're a little banged up. I just wanted them. Okay, so the next stop is the sixth stop is in Tyler, Texas, Ground Zero Comics. This place was very nice.
This was a very nice big store
It was
that had a lot of tabletop space. They were playing
Mhm.
tabletop games, and that's great. And I can see why they. And it looks like they have a lot of customer appreciation days there.
Mhm.
Really nice. We didn't find much that we were looking for. I think that this was the first time I actually found the issue I was looking for of Adventure Comics of Batman's Death. And it was in a case. They had an interesting case that was kind of locked. You could flip through, and they were all in nice packages, but they had it for $70.
Yeah.
And I was like, this book is one of those books that hasn't really blown up, but I feel like it might. And then I was worried on this trip. Oh, it's blowing up. So this is going to be a bigger issue. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not buying it for $70. That is insane. I want to get it for a really, really cheap, good buy price. So passed on it. And I ended up only picking up 2 comics here. In fact, this was one of those funny spots where we stopped in and I wasn't going to get anything, but Joe found some, and she said, if I'm getting something, you're getting something. And I found one comic. I was like, you know what? I'll pick up Batman 571, which is a No Man's Land crossover with Bane on the cover. I do not have this one, and it was only like $3. So I figured, why not? But Joe was like, no, that's not enough. So she saw that I was looking at a comic. She grabbed it. She bought it. She said, you're getting it, which is I believe, I don't know if this is the last issue of Adventure of Brave and the Bold, but this is the Batman versus the Spectre cover, which is really cool.
It is cool. I love it.
And it's a really cool cover. And that leads into another comic I was talking about on this trip, which was Brave and the Bold, the issue where Batman and Catwoman get married. The Earth 2 Batman gets married to Catwoman. And that was like, you know what? If I see it, I might pick it up. So this kind of led into that. And didn't see it on this trip at all. So what did you get where you made me get these comics?
Well, I was, of course, hunting for my Elvira meets Vincent Price #4. This is the 6th time I was defeated.
And you were getting very pissed off.
I was getting very pissed off. Very. Like, I mean, I would ask the guy, hey, do you have this comic? Oh, no. He actually told me he doesn't sell a lot of Elvira. So I was like, meh, all right, whatever.
I think that's kind of odd because her books go for a lot, and there's a lot of variant covers, and it kind of shocked me to find out that they weren't selling.
I was like,
So-
poo on you. But anyway, I was okay because I did find more Karloff.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie to you, this cover is one of my favorite covers of a comic book. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with it. I love it. So I was like, oh, this is badass. I have to get it. And then this one I also got. I got these for a pretty reasonable price. So they weren't like $25 each or anything crazy like that. But I did find this 15-cent House of Mystery, and I think I might have paid $4.50 for that one.
Yeah.
But I wanted it because I'm hunting
It's the
those.
collection, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
Gotta find that buy, right?
gotta find that buy. So I did pretty good here. But there was no Elvira's though. That was my 6th defeat. And at this point, I was just like, you know, I'm just buying this on eBay or whatever.
And I kept saying to
off.
her, hey, hang in there. It's all about the hunt. Believe me, as a
Yes.
fan of comics, I've
Well,
been hunting.
I like hunting too.
So-
However, the comic is going up in price every 3 minutes probably. So I'm getting more angry by the second here.
Yeah.
But I did not give up on my Elvira meets Vincent Price #4. I did not give up. I did not cave. I did not go to Amazon or eBay.
And where was this comic book store again?
Okay,
Where
so
it was
this
located?
place is in Tyler, Texas.
Tyler,
This was
Texas.
on our way to Dallas.
And nice people, by the way, working in there as
Yes,
well.
Ground Zero Comics.
Tyler, Texas. So now we have entered our 4th state,
Yes.
and we're in a hunt. So then we basically now stopped in at a smaller store. We got off the highway, and Joe found another store. Oh, you know what? I found one. We're going to go stop in. And it was a very smaller store, and it was virtually mainly Funkos and toys.
Yeah, so this is after we had already visited Dallas. We were heading down to Austin, Texas. And this place is called King's Cache. This is in Austin. And we found a couple of things here.
And it got to the point where I was like, I'm stopping into these stores. We're going to come out with something. We're going to find a comic, support your local comic book stores, find a little something. You found one, and I ended up picking up 3. And I ended up getting these. No, again, I think these were just cover price. And I found Deceased Dead Planet #1 and #3 with their variant covers that are very, very cool variant covers. I absolutely love these. And for cover price, I think it's actually a great deal because they're kind of harder to find than you normally would expect. So, yeah, that's #3 right there. And then also Deceased #6, which completes my series. I had all these, but I was looking for this variant cover that is a riff on a movie poster, but is also got one of my weird favorite DC characters, Detective Chimp, on it.
I love that cover.
It's
I
an
think
awesome
it's rad.
cover.
I love it.
For cover price, you know what?
Yeah. Take it.
We'll stop in and get a little something.
Yeah, so I picked up issue #1 of Creepshow. I think that cover is awesome. So this has started me on a new path.
Well, this is actually a relaunch comic, and I think there's only a couple of them. I don't think there's a full series of it.
Right.
But it's a relaunch comic. Doesn't actually go for much. It's not as big of a series that we thought it might be when she picked it up. But we love the cover, and as you can tell, I got my shirt, Creepshow all the way. So very cool horror fans. So
forever.
Yeah, picked up a little something. More of and you actually got a toy.
I did get a toy. So I got the Funko Soda Elvira version.
Yeah.
And she's cute. I don't have her here because I quickly took her to work so she can sit with me and work with me as I'm slaving away. And she's adorable. So I found Elvira Funko Soda there. I found those books.
So yeah, now we're at Austin Books and Comics. This was a really funny thing. We actually stopped in here, and it was a kind of a tight squeeze. We didn't know how to get into this place at first because we had to pull into a front of a store. Had to do it fast in oncoming traffic. Very, very quick, very small front. But what's funny about this was the first store we went into was actually their neighbor, which I think they have a side business where they sell just toys.
Yes.
And this store was kind of great as a Godzilla fan. This was just almost all kaiju toys, which was very shocking to me. Who has the money? Because when you're a fan of Toho and all that, those toys are expensive as hell. And I'm going to tell you,
crazy expensive.
I'm not even going to start on that crazy expensive thing. Joe was actually shocked because she thought she messed up and she thought, oh, they don't even have comics in this comic book store.
Yes, I have one job on this trip, and that was to seek out all the comic book stores that we can on our route, in our southern road trip. So I was like, oh, shoot, this is not a comic book store at all. So I'm glad that I have a big mouth. And I said to the guy, I was like, where are all your comic books? And he said, next door.
Oh, yeah, you didn't even say it because we actually just walked out. And as we walked out, I said, the comic book store's next door.
And you know what? It was a patron. Some guy, I actually said to you, where's the freaking comics? And there's a guy that was shopping in there, and he said, next door. And I was like, oh, okay. That's how it went down.
It was so wild, too. And I parked in a spot where I was like, I don't know how we're getting out of here anytime soon.
Yeah, it's a very
so
tight
I'm glad
place. This place, there's
that
3 parking spaces.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that getting out, we actually found a comic book store because we thought, oh, we're walking into a place, not any comics, we got to leave, and it's going to be hard to get out of here.
Yeah.
But wow, this turned out to be a great stop. This was a super nice store. Unfortunately, when we walked in, we were a little startled right off the bat where they were taking purses and bags away from people because I guess there's been some theft. And that's a shame. But what was... this actually set us off in a bad mood because it was kind of hard to get in here and figure out what was going on. And then that happened. you were like, I really don't like giving my purse to
I
strangers.
didn't want to give my purse to this guy behind the counter. I was kind of taken aback by it, and I didn't really like that. I felt uneasy. you
Yeah,
know?
and I don't blame you. That's your money and everything. And also, our phones. And it was kind of packed. And this store was huge. And we were a little shocked by this because we hadn't had this experience yet. And there was a lot of employees there, which made it even more strange
Yeah.
that this was happening.
It's a big
Well,
store.
luckily,
It's a big store.
we were voicing this opinion out loud, and a gentleman who worked there heard me saying this and said, I don't agree with it either, but we're having a huge sale. And so our boss is a little worried about theft. And I said, oh, that makes some sense. What's the sale? He hands me a flyer that says everything in our store is 50% off.
Yeah. Naturally, I freaked out. I was like,
What? And we realized that this store went far back.
it was very, very
They,
big.
they had a nice layout. They had back issues in the back, new comics up in front, on the side, and then on another side they had keys all over the wall, and they had comics behind the counter that you can ask about and see what they have, and someone will take down these heavy boxes and bring them to you to look through, which is super nice. And this turned out to be an accidental great stop. 50% off. I actually shocked. Did not buy as many as I could have because I didn't want to go too far. So we ended up walking out with some great comics for only
yeah.
50% off, some really good buys. And
Yes.
you want to show a couple?
So yeah, a
First,
couple
I'll show
that
a
I
couple.
got is I got the new Archies. That was super cheap. But I also found, which I love these so much, one-shots. And I did find a Jinx Cursed Life one-shot. I also found Chilling Adventures, Archie Horror, Camp Pickens. That is a one-shot. And also, I love this cover so much, I was obsessed with it. This is a one-shot. Pop's Chocolate Shop of Horrors.
Those are really cool covers. by the way.
Yes.
Let's, let me
I
get
was
some.
obsessed.
So, how much were they? They were cheap, right?
They were half off the cover price.
Oh, you know what? Those actually might have been new comics that just came out.
No. Oh, the back issues.
They
okay.
might have been, yeah.
So these were
I think they're
full
newer.
price.
Yeah.
Because they were newer.
Yeah, you had just found them on the new comic
Yes,
shelf.
and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna spend some money because I have to have these.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this place was packed with other people ripping up keys for 50% off. People were just ripping the store up. There was a lot of people, and the guy actually told me there's more people in here than Saturday. We were actually there on a Sunday. And, yeah, so I got some old school comics for very good prices. I got Detective Comics number 495 for only, I believe, $4.
Mm-hmm.
Which, getting in the 400s for only $4, pretty shocked. I picked up some cheaper comics that were only like $2 half off, which was Batman 464 and Batman 659 and Batman 665. What an awesome cover that is. Very cool for only like $2 something or $3 or something like that. So what'd you get next?
Okay, so I was freaking out because I did find the House of Secrets. I found a couple of these, and I just needed to have them. The covers are cool.
Yeah, and
They're
half off too, by the
half
way. These were
off.
definitely half off comics.
Yes, these were half off, and I found a bunch, so I was like really happy about that. Yeah, it was like 25-cent comics, and then I found one that was 20 cents, and I was like, oh wow, and I love this cover. So that's
Yeah,
that.
getting into House of Secrets
And
this
another
time,
one.
not House of Mystery,
Right, House of Secrets.
which you couldn't find any.
And then, yeah, I didn't find it.
And by the way, another stop, no Elvira number 4.
Okay, this is where are we? We're at Austin Toys and Comics here. Austin Books and Comics, sorry. And this is our 8th stop.
8th stop, and I'm going to say what made it even worse is, well, I got 2 more comics here to show. I got number 500 Detective Comics, an anniversary issue, the 500th anniversary.
It's a thick book too.
It's a nice book,
Yeah.
only $5. But then the mother load happened. I found the comic I was actually hunting, which was Adventure Comics 462, The Death of Earth 2 Batman, half off, $10. I had just seen it for $70.
Mm-hmm.
$10. I actually thought
You
that
were so
was
happy.
an incredible find. Could not believe they had 2 copies of it too.
Mhm.
I hadn't seen it anywhere else except for that $70. But this made Joe even more mad. We couldn't find the issue she's hunting, but we found the issue I was hunting.
Well, I'm happy for you. I am. Because I didn't find any Karloff either, except for this one. I did find one that was sitting on a little spindle rack.
Oh, they had an old school Key Comics spindle rack
Yeah.
with all comics that were either Key or
Mhm.
they had Charleston comics on there, which was really neat.
Yeah.
And I actually was like, I would buy this thing because it's so neat looking.
Yeah.
So
So we did good there.
this was a killer find.
Yeah, we did good there.
So I can see why they were taking the purse, although it was a bad way to start that moment. But then what a great way to end it, finding good comics for good prices,
Yes.
and then moving on.
Moving
and
on.
the guy at the counter, actually, Joe was asking, do you have Elvira number 4? And so this is where they suggested, hey, down the street, there is a bookstore. It's a giant bookstore that actually has comic books. And we looked at each other and said, do we do it? Do we go?
And we're like, yes, we do, because
So
we're
we
here.
gassed up, we went down the block, and we found,
This
a
is half.
mega
It's
store.
called Half Price Books.
Yeah.
This is in Austin, Texas, as well. Literally about a 2-second drive from Austin Books and Comics, and this place is a monster. It is huge. Picture
huge
like
store.
back in the day when you walked into like a Walden Books or something like that. This was huge, and they had a whole like section right down the middle of all back issues and old comics in bins, alphabetical.
Yeah,
So-
this was wild, and once again, guys, a sale.
A sale, yeah.
Everything is 20% off.
Everything is 20% off, and they had so much to look at that we were just amazed. I mean, we kind of just broke off and went and looked for our own things. Naturally, I did not, on the, what is this, 9th stop now, find Elvira meets Vincent Price number 4. I did not find it. And I was just like, okay, well, let's see what else there is.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm going to say 20% off, the books in the middle of the store, anything not in sleeves, were cover price. So you got cover price books, but 20% off. Joe talked me into get what you need. Unfortunately, they had a lot that I needed in my checking off my comics, and I ended up coming out with a big stack of comics. So we hit a big stack of comics here. This was just that crazy. We just found Joe actually found some comics that were in a 25-cent.
I
bin or
think,
something
I
like
think
that?
they
It
were
was-
50 cents.
Was it 50 cents?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up getting almost full runs of Batgirl Rebirth and Batwing New 52. I found some pretty cool comics for half off the cover price or 20% off the cover price, like an issue that I actually needed of the Blackest Night Batman. You didn't find as many. I found pretty much runs of comics in here for nothing.
Yeah, I didn't really find. I only found 2.
Yeah,
Didn't find anything I was looking for.
Yep, you actually found that. That was actually a fun one.
Yeah, so I'll show you in the meantime that I found Archie versus Predator 3 of 4. Now I'm on the hunt for the other ones. I did see this when we went to the store in Tyler, Texas. They did have the other Archie meets the Predator, but I didn't pick them up because I was not sure of it.
Yeah, and they were also like higher priced, right?
They were a higher price, and this one was only like 50 cents. So I got that one.
Just finding some good stuff, annuals that I needed for 20% off cover price. Just checking off the whole thing, getting the Bat Family done. This was a good stop, good suggestion, and I can see that apparently they get a lot of issues in there, and a lot of them are big issues. They don't really check, which is pretty neat. Just getting some cool covers, some finishing a whole runs of comics, which is great, and you
Yeah.
can find it that cheap.
I found
So,
some Betty and Veronica's. These were 50
A little banged
cents.
up, but they're going to
I mean, yeah.
help our friend and or start, finish some of your stuff.
Yeah, and I did find House of Mystery there. That one, I don't think that one was 50 cents. I think it was $1 actually. I didn't pay much for that one.
No, yeah, we didn't. We ended up paying almost nothing for this entire stack. At the end, I actually think he gave it to me even cheaper because at the very end, he seemed to have knocked off money, and then he seemed to, just round it down.
Yeah.
And I got it for way less than I ever thought. So I walked out of there with a pretty good stack of comic books for an insanely cheap price.
Yeah, so this place is called Half Price Books, and this is in Austin, Texas. This is also a place where you can turn in your old books, and they pay you for them. So there's a whole section in the back where you can turn in your old books, and this place had everything. It had DVDs, it had everything. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So next off, we actually went and stayed in Austin, Texas, and we hung out there, and it wasn't like any comic book stores, but we did end up going to some fun places. One of the fun places ended up being a Museum of the Weird. It was called the Museum of the Weird,
It was really
which was
fun.
just a lot of fun stuff. Think Ripley's Believe It or Not, think all that kind of stuff. And they had some great exhibits, but some really, really neat swag. We ended up picking up a lot of stuff we weren't expecting, and at the end, we actually looked in a case, and they had something that kind of went with this trip. So we ended up getting this awesome metal plate poster print of what looks like a key comic of Vincent Price, which is a whole nother thing here, right? This is an interesting little conversation. Joe actually thought, where is this comic and how do I not have this? And I said, I have never seen it, but I think it does exist. Well, lo and behold, we found out that this comic doesn't exist.
It does
this
not
is actually a
exist.
mock key comic.
Yes, this is a gold key,
Oh, I see.
I guess a representation of what this Vincent Price comic would look like. This is by artist Doug Pagash, and this is beautiful. This is one of the most beautiful pieces of art I have ever seen. So I'm in love with Vincent Price. I'm
It's a-
obsessed.
Really neat
And,
cover. To find it in a museum
To find it at the Museum of the Weird was
a little shocking,
It was
but it went with our
shocking.
trip really, really well.
it is metal,
Yep.
and
one of those-
it's just so beautiful, the colors and just everything about this, and I love it so much. This was $35, and it was worth every penny to me.
Yeah.
So
And what's funny about it is
I'm
we're not even
happy.
hunting comics in this city. We're just hanging out, having a good time, seeing the sights we've never seen. This was our first time in Texas, and finding this just was like, you know what? The hunt of comics is just following us everywhere we go.
and this was just perfect to stumble upon, especially for me. So I'm pretty happy with this. This is again by artist Doug Pagash. You can follow him on Instagram like I do. He does great work.
Okay, so next up, this is another weird one. We actually went to a brewery. I think we got some beers, maybe dinner, and Joe suggested, hey, there is a really interesting museum of toys.
Mhm.
So in Austin, Texas, it turns out they have, do you know the name of this?
Yeah, it's just called the Austin Toy Museum.
Toy Museum. We had to go check this out. If you're a toy fan, if you're a collector of toys, my childhood was on display in this place. Whoever the gentleman who runs this place, it's just an entire series collection of every toy you can think of.
It's G.I.
Teenage Mutant
Joe.
Ninja Turtles, Transformers,
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, stuff from my childhood I haven't seen since I was a little kid.
We were little.
But what was really funny, they gave you, what's really great about this museum, and I'm just going to set this up in motion here. They give you beers at the front door. Hey, would you like some beers to go tour the museum with? Yeah, absolutely. We grab some beers. And also, when you go in, your admission also is free to play all the video games. And they actually have a video game bar arcade area. It was just old school arcade machines and pinball machines, but also setups of all the old NESs, all the old systems, and you can play any games you want on there. Very cool
That's
place.
cool.
And there wasn't really a lot of people there. It was just us hanging out, having fun, playing every single video game and looking at toys while we drank our beer. But on the way out, something, of course, because why not on this quest? Something had to speak to us. Joe found a box of comics on the floor
It was just
in
sitting
their
there.
store area.
So I was like, what is this?
Now, I wish I had a picture of this. I didn't take pictures of it at the time, and it beat me up because there were 2 comics in here in particular just laying in these boxes, begging for someone to save them because they weren't being treated like they should be. One of those was an old school Wonder Woman comic, a very old issue of Wonder Woman. They were asking $20 for it. It was beat up. It wasn't being taken care of. I didn't want to throw the money at it. And at this part of we've spent so much money on comics that I said, maybe at this time, not the best idea. And
Big mistake.
I wish we would have gotten it because it is worth a lot of money, I found out. But it was very beat up. There was also a, what was it, Tomb of Dracula? Not Tomb of Dracula. It was an issue of I, Vampire
Yes.
from House of Mysteries.
Yes, it was I, Vampire, and I was like, oh crap, I want this.
Yeah, again, overpriced, beat up, no board. And I asked them, hey, look, I'll give you this much money for these 2 issues just so I can save them. And unfortunately, she said no.
Well, because they were actually donated or being sold by a third party, I guess. So it had nothing to do with the store. So she couldn't really, the girl that was working at the time could not give us a deal on the comics.
Yeah. But luckily, in the same box, I was able to find some extremely old Question comics from his first run, his first series. These were all out of bags and boards, just loose. Had to save them. I love the Question, and I wanted to complete his run, and I was able to get a good handful for cover price. Cover price issues for old school Question comics. And because Joe was having a beer, she walked out with a comic book. Now,
Give me this prized possession. So I found New Kids on the Block comic for $1.25. Now judge me if you will, but back then Joey McIntyre was life, okay? And I still don't know what's going on the cover of this book.
all I know is it's the right stuff.
I hate you.
And you know what? Joe said, I don't care. I'm buying this comic. It is going to be in my life.
It is going to be in my life simply because
Look
I
at-
feel as though Joey looks like Amanda Burse from Married with Children. She played Marcy, the neighbor. Just look at that, okay? And then I don't know what's going on here with Jordan. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. But step by step, I had to pick this up. It was $1.25, and it was just something that I needed, not because I was drinking.
But you were
That
hanging
had
tough.
something to do with it, and I was
Hanging
hanging
tough.
tough. And I needed to have this $1.25 comic in my life. Why? I don't know.
This says a lot about Joe's childhood here, and my childhood. And I'm very shocked that I was able to find 4 issues of a comic series that I love, and for a cover price. And Joe found one that made her think of her sweethearts from her childhood.
I mean, I really love Joey, but I was in shock. I have not opened this to look at the art on the inside.
It looks like it's been abused.
I'm afraid to open it because I feel like it will literally disintegrate.
Yes, I think moths might fly out of this comic.
Yeah, but I had to have it because it was by itself sitting there, and it was lonely.
You should get this. Put it right
and
there.
and when I looked at it, and I put it back, and then I looked at it again, and Joey was just saying, "Please don't go, girl."
Put it right there for me. No. Yes. So, all right.
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. On this trip, I could not get over our second stop on our entire adventure of hunting comic books, and I couldn't get over this one store, and that was Fallout Comics. I couldn't get over it. I thought about all the issues I put back. I thought about the comics that I saw that were worth money. I thought about just sitting in the back of this place, going through long boxes, which I could have done for 5 days. I actually told the people who worked there, that place is like a crack den. You know that scene in Hostel where the guy walks out and says to him, "You could spend all your money in there." That's how I felt. I felt like, and I believe that is Takashi. I can't remember the director's name, but I felt like that guy coming out of the hostel saying, "Holy shit, beware."
Yeah.
And the funniest part is, Joe said, "We're gonna go back."
Yes.
So on the way home, we decided to stop in.
Back in Tallahassee, on our way home, we stopped back at Fallout Comics when we had some time to kill this time.
Joe says, "We don't have much time because we're supposed to meet your parents."
Well, we
We're
did
gonna go
have
meet my parents
more
in another place.
time. We had more time this time than the first time. So I was like, all right, we got to get out of here in 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Except Joe didn't think about the time change.
There was a time change.
We
and
completely forgot. We had lost an hour.
I pissed off your dad, but we were in here a pretty good amount of time.
And guys, yikes! Here we go. I got a box of comics.
Don't hurt your back, old man.
Yeah, this was, again, I told Joe, take me back on my birthday. This is all I want to do is look through these boxes if they're still there. And by the way, they shouldn't be. If anybody sees this video and loves comic books, hit this store up. The things that I found in these boxes
Yes.
were insane.
But can we tell them what I found at that store?
Well, I thought you would want to talk about it.
Okay, so we are now at stop, I would say 11 now. We're back at Fallout Comics in Tallahassee, and we were raging through those dollar bins. We were just, and it was still, the customer appreciation was still 20% off. So we were raging through there. I mean, in record time, trying to scoot through every box, just killing it. So I did find another one-shot of Happy Horror Days. I love these one-shots so much. I found a Betty. These were actually not dollar comics, but they were on sale. So I believe these were $4 and then 20% off. And these are the one-shots that I spent $4 on.
These are all, yeah. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the major thing. Joe
Okay.
found the issue she was looking for. It happened on the end of our trip. She found Elvira Meets Vincent Price, number 4.
Yes, we were rounding the finish line, and we were almost there. We were on the last lap, and I was very discouraged. I was highly discouraged that I could not find this book because I did not want to order it from some price gouger on eBay. I wanted to find it myself, and I was like, okay, well, let's move along, Joe. Let's move along. Let's not go into the dollar. I was at the dollar bins for over an hour, and I'm like, all right, let me just scooch along to the regular back issues, and let me just take a look just to see. I know they're not going to have it here. No one's had it. So let me just go under E, and there she was, right there. And I think that, I don't know if I have ever felt the elation that I felt when I saw this book. I was like, you are kidding me. Like, it was just like a unicorn farted glitter on my head. Like, that's just the way it felt. I was so happy that I found this book that I couldn't even describe to you. And so, yes, I was overjoyed.
Yeah.
I found it.
It happened. Now, yes, there you go. And remember, this was the place with 80-cent comics. And now I am not an asshole. I think about my friends. And my friend is a Marvel Comics fan and likes certain comics, especially the comic book character from the X-Men named Bishop. Mostly because he says he's the Jamaican X-Men. Well, I decided I'm going to hunt whatever Bishop comic I can find. And I think I hit the mother lode of comics for him. I don't know. These are all for him, but they're, I think, pretty amazing issues. I cannot believe the issues I was able to find here for him. I could have probably found the entire run of Bishop's first appearance if I hunted. I know for a fact that I passed on one comic that is worth a lot of money, 80 cents. So I got him to issue 288. Bishop is on the cover. I got him 289. This is the issue where Forge actually proposes to Storm. Cannot believe it's 80 cents. I would think this would be a bigger issue. This is where Storm 290, where I think she actually refuses the proposal. I got 291, 292, 293, and then I went up to, I think I went back, and I actually think I got Bishop's second appearance in comics, 284. Right in the corner there, I believe it's Bishop's second appearance. And then I picked him up a couple oddities. We got him Bishop number 1 and Bishop number 3, and another offshoot Bishop comic. Pretty neat for somebody who's looking for those kind of comics. I think he'll like them all, but really cool. Also found Web of Spider-Man 90 and 80 cents. All these were 80 cents.
80 cents.
And I think those are some really killer comics for 80 cents. Of course, we also had to be selfish and get ourselves a mother load of comics.
So I picked up this Rogue. This is also for 80 cents, which I was in shock. But I also picked up a lot of Archies. They were in the dollar boxes. So these were all 80 cents. And I was stoked because I get to share these with my friend, and I think she's going to be pretty happy. So there's quite a few of these that I picked up. They are not in perfect condition, but I know that she doesn't care about that because she just wanted to have some of her collection back, and I think that these are pretty good for 80 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also found House of Secrets. I picked that up because it was 80 cents.
Yeah, is that the newer series or is it?
It is. It's a newer one. So
yeah, those are an offshoot thing. Yeah, that's an interesting series.
But this one had to endure a lot of agony and rage for this, and I'm pretty happy that I completed. We can't
show you everything we got. I ended up getting almost Robin's entire run of his first ongoing series. And there goes all the comics. But here's some of the ones I got that I thought were pretty great for 80 cents. I got Green Arrow and Black Canary's first issue, 80 cents. I got Batman 383. Batman 384 Calendar Man cover. Old school Calendar Man cover. Batman 577, Batman holding a gun. These are usually, when you see these are usually worth money, 80 cents. I found an even better copy of 414 of Batman. Pretty neat. A little banged up, but I believe the death of Jason Todd for 80 cents.
Mm-hmm. You did really good there.
These are really good, kind of shocking. Some really great ones. 409 Batman, 80 cents, guys. I'm telling you, if you are anywhere, you got to go to this place just to hunt through these comics.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of shocking. And I was able to find more of Son of Ambushbug. I know they're probably not worth anything, but what a cool series. And we got a pretty good box. I even got the box. I bought the box because I'm like, I'm going to need something to carry all these comics.
We couldn't carry all the comics that we actually bought, and so he bought a. You can
I
get
just got
like
a short box
for
couple
$8,
bucks, yeah.
and it was worth it. So now we got a very nice haul here, and it's a beautiful store. So if you, like I said, if you are ever in Tallahassee, Florida, you have to hit up Fallout Comics. They are incredible.
There's so many boxes in the back of this place. I'm going to show a little bit of a video I put. I'm probably going to keep putting it up. But there's stacks upon stacks of boxes, and you can't even go through them all because you've got to off-stack them all just to get to bottom boxes. Couldn't even tell you what's in there.
Yeah.
But I saw some comics in there. I know if I bought them to sell, I could have made a lot of my money back. Cannot believe they're in these 80-cent boxes.
Yeah, it was shocking the things that we found in there. And I, the people that work there are so nice. And I mean, we were literally just tag teaming to try and get through all of these. I mean, you need a team of people to help you go through all of these boxes because there was so much.
Yeah.
And it was just shocking. And I'm talking like full runs of series for $1 in these boxes. It's amazing. So if, like I said, you gotta go to this place. It was
probably
awesome.
could have finished everything that I'm looking for in these boxes if I had the time. And and I said to Joe, hey, for my birthday, just bring me back in there, put a party hat on me, let me go wild for a couple hours. I'm sure I'm gonna be the happiest
We'll need
I've
a
ever
whole
been.
day. Yeah,
So,
we'll need a whole day for that.
All right, so okay,
So-
and now look, one more stop. We weren't expecting to come out with much. Every time we go near this area, we stop into this really nice small comic book store. It's a very nice. The guys that work there are always extremely nice. I go there particularly because I know that they have, I believe, 5 comics for.
It was.
I believe it's like something like 6 comics for $5 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, 6 for $5. But it's a small comic book store in Claremont, Florida. It's called Windows Comics. They're very nice. They have a customer appreciation card where you purchase a certain amount of comics and you get a stamp, and then you get like a percentage off at the end.
These guys always give me free stuff.
Yeah,
they're so nice.
They're always giving us T-shirts for free and things like it. Very nice, small comic book store in Claremont, Florida.
Always giving out stuff. We actually this time discovered the $2 boxes. And I was like, oh, $2 boxes, it's going to go even up. I can't believe the money we spent on this trip on getting these comics. But, I mean, what we actually ended up, I think, in the long run, spent way less on comics than if we bought them other ways.
Yeah.
So, I actually came up with some comics, just stuff to complete my runs. But for $2 or $1, can't beat this. So I picked up a little stack here. You can see I actually got some. Actually came out of here with more comics than I ever expected to come out of. But you found some more.
I did.
Karloff.
I found some scary tales. I did find a Karloff, and then I found these. I mean, it's gold key. So I was like, okay, let me just pick these up because the covers are pretty cool. They're 15 cents. This is 15 cents. Robot Fighter 4000 AD.
Yeah,
I have no idea what this is, but it's intriguing to me. So.
Yeah, just finding something interesting. I love that you were like, you know what, the covers are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick them up. Love those old school comics. I just picked up basically, things that I didn't have for only a couple bucks, which was like Hell Arisen #2, Justice League, all the dark, death metal tie-ins with all the variant covers, which is neat. But they're, I know they're not worth this much, but for that price, pretty great. Deceased #5, a cool variant cover. Just finding some really neat variant covers for a little money. So, yeah, this was the last stop. This was enough, I think. I think our first attempt at hunting cheap comics and going on this adventure of trying to find comics while also experiencing the states we've never been in and places we've never gone to was very fruitful and fun.
Yeah, we had a
We had
great
a blast
time.
doing this.
The hunt was a lot of fun, although frustrating for me. But in the end, I would like to again give a huge shout out to Fallout Comics in Tallahassee for providing me with my Elvira meets Vincent Price #4, so I don't have a freaking meltdown.
Yeah.
But yes, that place, that I would say it was the winner of our entire journey was Fallout Comics.
Well, Fallout Comics, just for the price and how many comics we ended up walking out of there with, had to go back. Wish I never left. Could have slept there and gone through their comics for them for just for a for a few comics as a page.
I mean, we would come out of there with a long box, no doubt, if we went back.
Yeah.
But all of these comic stores that we went to were, I guess, 11 of them.
11 stores.
11 stores
Some
on our
not even
journey.
comic book stores just ended up finding comics.
Yeah, we just ended up stumbling upon them, like in the Toy Museum in Austin. But all of these comic stores and all of these bookstores and these places we went were it was a joy. It was an amazing adventure. And all of these stores, you should hit them up if you're ever in the area because they have amazing things and really cool people working there.
Yeah, absolutely. So many nice people. I love meeting these people. This is one of my favorite things is go to these places that we find people that we might share interest with, kind of bull crap a little bit, learn about the area through these people, and get some cool stuff on the way.
Yeah.
So this is something I hope people like or are interested in. I think we had fun doing this. I hope it looks decent. I hope everything. We don't know what we're doing.
I mean, we don't know what we're doing. This is
We
our
usually
first
do
video.
just a podcast where we talk about bad movies or movies in general. But we have so many other things. As you can see, DVDs and horror and collectibles, and we just do crazy stuff. Might do a little bit of videos if this is if this looks good and successful,
Yeah.
because we enjoy doing
Well, our
stuff.
friends are
so.
telling us that we should do videos, so we decided to take a chance, and this is our first video. So
And-
don't hold it against us.
What other day? Today is Batman Day.
It's
Batman
Batman Day.
appreciation, Batman. So what a perfect day to even try to attempt this. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening, coming to watch this, listening to our podcast. We appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you come back for more.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, you can follow us on Instagram. Scott runs our movie page. He is at Just Another Movie Night, and I am the Crafty Misfit. So if you wanted to follow us on Instagram, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Tell us where other comic book stores are we should hit next venture, which I don't know. We'll see what happens next time.
Yeah.
Well, we record it next time or what we come back with. So yeah, thank you so much and have a good one.